They're simple, slender sticks, two little tools that have been used for thousands of years to eat, cook, and even show respect. But have you ever wondered why chopsticks were invented in the first place? Of all the eating utensils humanity could have chosen, why did millions of people across Asia end up with a pair of sticks instead of forks, knives, or spoons? Today, we're diving into the fascinating history of chopsticks, how they came to be, what influenced their design, and why they became such a lasting cultural symbol. Right here, on History of Simple Things. To understand where chopsticks came from, we have to go way back, over 5,000 years ago, to ancient China. The earliest evidence of chopstick-like tools dates to around 1200 BCE, found in ruins from the Shang dynasty. But these weren't eating utensils yet. They were made of bronze and used mainly for cooking. Think of them like ancient tongs. People used them to reach deep into boiling pots or fires, to grab hot food safely without burning their hands. At that time, eating with the hands was still common. Food was often served in large communal pots, and diners would simply use their fingers or spoons made from shells or bamboo. So it wasn't until a few centuries later that chopsticks transitioned from cooking tools to dining utensils. And the reason for that change is quite interesting. It had to do with food preparation, resources, and even philosophy. As China's population grew, so did the need to make food stretch further. Around the time of the Zhou dynasty, about 1000 BCE, there was an increasing emphasis on cutting food into small, bite-sized pieces before cooking. This wasn't just a matter of convenience, it was also a matter of practicality. Smaller pieces cooked faster, which saved fuel, an important consideration as wood became scarcer in densely populated regions. Now, when food was already cut into small chunks, there was no longer a need for a knife at the dinner table. All you needed were two small sticks to pick up your food, and just like that, chopsticks found their way from the kitchen to the table. Interestingly, this shift also aligned with Confucian values that were deeply influential at the time. Confucius himself was said to dislike knives at the table because they reminded people of violence and war. He believed that dining should be a peaceful, harmonious experience, something that brought people together, not reminded them of conflict. So chopsticks, being gentle and elegant tools, perfectly reflected those values. Before we go further, have you ever wondered why they're called chopsticks in English? The word actually comes from a bit of old sailor slang. When Western traders reached China during the 17th century, they heard locals call them kuaizi, which literally means quick little bamboo. The Chinese word kuai means fast or quick, and the suffix zi just means small thing. But English-speaking sailors from the South China Sea, especially those who spoke Pidgin English, started calling them chopsticks, derived from the phrase chop chop, which meant quickly in the old trade lingo. So chopsticks literally translates to quick sticks. It's a charming example of how languages blend through trade and travel, one simple utensil carrying both its ancient Chinese meaning and a quirky bit of colonial slang. Over time, chopsticks didn't just stay in China. As Chinese culture, trade, and philosophy spread across Asia, so did these simple eating tools. By around 500 CE, they had made their way to Korea, Japan, and Vietnam, but each country adapted chopsticks in its own unique way. In Korea, chopsticks were traditionally made of metal, often brass or silver. One story says that silver chopsticks were used by royalty to detect poison in food, though that's more myth than science. Still, metal chopsticks became a long-standing tradition there. They're usually shorter and flatter than Chinese chopsticks and are often paired with a spoon for rice and soups. In Japan, chopsticks took on an entirely different personality. They became shorter, more pointed, and often beautifully decorated. The Japanese also developed the concept of hashi, which are personal chopsticks meant for individual use rather than communal dining. There are even special chopsticks for ceremonies, cooking, and serving. Vietnam's chopsticks, meanwhile, are often made of wood or bamboo and are slightly longer, reflecting their use in both eating and cooking. Across these regions, the chopstick became not just a tool, but an extension of culture, each design reflecting local customs, etiquette, and ways of eating. Chopsticks have been made from nearly every material imaginable: bamboo, wood, ivory, bone, silver, gold, and even jade. But bamboo and wood remain the most common, partly because they're renewable and easy to shape, and partly because they feel warm and natural in the hand. Beyond practicality, chopsticks also carry deep symbolism. In many Asian cultures, giving someone a pair of chopsticks was considered a sign of good luck or friendship. There's also symbolism in how they're used. Placing chopsticks upright in a bowl of rice, for example, is taboo because it resembles incense sticks used at funerals. Small gestures like how you rest your chopsticks or pass food with them have layers of meaning tied to respect, hierarchy, and harmony. Fast forward to today, and chopsticks have crossed borders far beyond Asia. They've become a global symbol of Asian cuisine, found in restaurants from New York to Paris to Manila. But what's fascinating is how something so old, over 3,000 years in use, still feels relevant and modern. So, why were chopsticks invented? The answer isn't just about eating, it's about adaptation, philosophy, and culture. They were born out of necessity during times of scarcity, refined through values of peace and respect, and shaped by generations who found beauty in simplicity. The next time you pick up a pair of chopsticks, think about this. You're not just holding two sticks. You're holding a piece of human history, a 5,000-year-old idea that still works perfectly today. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. If you enjoyed this video, please check out our other bingeable channels. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.